economies, the biggest economies in the world, are undergoing the major transition, a green transition. Paris Agreement has required to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions to certain elements, and now all the economies are trying their best to. I'm saying their best to reduce. But to do so, we need to skilled people, and that's the subject of today's presentation. And I think it would be worth having the definition, what actually we mean for green jobs. I took the first definition about the green jobs from the United Nations Environmental Program, and just to show you one of the probably many definitions which go around the world. What is green jobs? The green jobs, it's interesting here in this definition is mentioned green collar jobs. So we don't have any more blue collar jobs. So workers in manufacturing, in industry, and the white collars, those who are already after the college degree working on engineers, architects, and so on. We have green collar jobs. So that is a certain shift even in the vocabulary about it. So green jobs, sustainability jobs, so they have different meaning, different expression. Eco jobs, some people say environmental jobs. So that's the jobs that it's about the work in agriculture, in manufacturing, research and development, administrative and service activities that contribute substantially to preserving and restoring environmental quality. Not only because it's not only restoring environmental quality, but also about the climate change contribution. So jobs that contribute to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, and jobs which contribute to mitigation actions in course of the climate change which the world is undergoing. So this kind of jobs include jobs also to protect ecosystems and biodiversity, reduce energy. That's very important, and I will show you later in my presentation how important it is in course of exactly of the net zero technologies that are now more in common, and they are now being focused on in different economies. So to reduce energy, materials, water consumption, and to decarbonize the whole economy. In that sense, the green jobs actually encompasses actually almost all jobs. Of course, we have also the digital and the digital agenda, and that I will be talking a little bit more later about it as well. But as you can see, this kind of jobs, actually, when we talk about the green jobs, we mostly talk about almost of every kind of activity in the future, because the economies are undergoing the transition to the green transition to the low carbon or carbon neutral economies. And these implications are, on the employment, in production of green products and services, in services, in the processes, environmental friendly processes, and they influence also the normal decent jobs. I was reflecting on that. I was just thinking that actually not only, that are not jobs only directly concentrated on sustainability, but also the jobs like me, a person who's working on finance, on budgetary issues. It has also implications in the verification, in monitoring, in accounting, in actually every single part of the work, of the actually current and especially future work. So I believe that it's not that has only the green label, but in the future we will have actually the focus and also the impact on actually everyone's activity. To show you how important it is, the green jobs, the agenda of the of yeah of education and of the training for the green transition, I took just a recent announcement of the White House from the US that have been announced on the Earth Day on 22nd of April. And you can see that the Biden administration is very much taking into account the requirements that that the climate deal in America, which is the Inflation Reduction Act, the biggest climate deal, that these requirements for jobs are so important. And you can see that the initiative of the Civilian Conservation Corps here to skill 20,000 young Americans is one of the flagships actually, and very fresh initiative that encompasses the reskilling and focusing on the clean energy and climate resilience activities, and to make actually young Americans fit for the green transition and for the situation where the climate change will require, so to say, the preparation and mitigation actions. Not only the American economy is preparing in that direction. As you might know, many economies having their own agenda on the transition to the green and carbon neutral economy. It's China is preparing its own strategy, Japan, Australia, India. So many economies are preparing their strategies to neutral carbon economy, and also to preparing their labor to be able to participate in the green transition. And as Europe has, put its growth strategy in 2019, European Green Deal strategy, to make Europe the first climate neutral continent by 2050. Also, there in this European Green Deal, in the set of the legislative proposals, has mentioned how important the skilled people are. I just give you the overview of the initiatives that encompasses the European Green Deal. So it's about the reduction of the emissions. It's about of the set of the green reforms in investments actually in the whole economies of the European countries. And also it's about the European Green Industrial Plan that will enhance competitiveness of the Europe and Europe's net zero industry. And there we will see that the skills are playing very important role. And in fact, just on Thursday, European Parliament agreed to the Net Zero Industry Act, and there we know that that the targets will be that 40% of the annual production on manufacturing in Europe will need to focus on net zero technologies. I will come back in the next slide about it. So you see that it's very actual subject and very actual concern of the main economies in the world to concentrate on reskilling and upskilling the labor to be ready to take up the net zero technologies, but also to actually to move to the carbon neutral economy. I will move to the next slide, showing here exactly the subject of the net zero technologies and what kind of skills are needed. I mentioned before that that it will encompasses actually every single part of our daily life, and you can see on this on this graph tree what kind of competences are for that needed. On the right side, I have showed you exactly, I mentioned the European Green Deal and the Net Zero Industrial Plan. And you can see what kind of targets European Union has put itself to be competitive, to remain as well competitive, and to take over the leadership in the green transition technologies. And in such technologies like solar photovoltaic or solar thermal, you can see that how big requirement on job is. 400,000 new jobs will be established. So that's the prediction of the European Green Deal, which means that 400,000 people need to be prepared to take up this kind of jobs. That means that that we need to set up different strategies and training programs to be ready and to move actually to this to achieve this target. The same is about the onshore wind and offshore renewables, the same activity, and probably similar amount of new jobs will be established, batteries and so on. So it's it's a huge requirement to educational and to educational institutions, but not only to member states and to whole governments to focus on the sustainability, on the green jobs, on the green competences. I will move further to the next slide, and just to mention only that the European Commission has prepared already the Green Compass as a reference, a framework for the green skills and competences. So this form of the tree you see on the graph is also put down in the in the framework and the proposals of the Commission. And I put the reference in the end of the presentation, so you can look later on, look up what it means actually in the detail. Not only the green jobs are needed. Look at the situation right now in Europe. And I have mentioned before, in the solar economy, 400,000 of new jobs. Here in this snapshot of the current situation, we can see that even 3.5 million new jobs will be expected only in renewable energy sectors. But it's not only this kind of sector. We are talking about the financing sector, about the services sector, ecotourism, about the manufacturing, about the electric vehicles. We are talking about the sustainable transport. We are talking about actually all sectors that need to be prepared already now to move to the carbon neutral economy. In this situation in Europe, we see that not all women have been activated, and so to say, there is a gap in active women on the market. And by activation of the female part of the society, it's important to put the efforts to skill this part of the society to sustain with the sustainable skills and competences. The problem with this kind of jobs is also that that small and medium enterprises, they cannot find even the persons who can take up the green jobs and other jobs. So the small and medium enterprises are not hiring the talents they need, and in 42 occupations in the EU, there are shortages. Of course, it has to do with the demographic change in Europe as well, but also it has to do with the skilling or reskilling need to the green transition and also to the digital market. And talking about the digital market, it's important to say that that's actually that goes hand in hand, the digital change or the digital transition and the green transition goes hand in hand, because people need to not only be reskilled in the direction of the green jobs, but also they need to have the digital skills in order to be active and be ready for this carbon neutral economy. That's why in many respects, I just moved my slide just a second. In many respects, we have started in the European Union many actions about it, and the last year was the European Year of Skills. And within the European Skill Agenda, the most, how to say, effort was about investing in the life learning. And there were, across the Europe, there were 2,000 events and meetings, and across the member states, across the governments, across the institutions dealing with the education, universities. So that the focus was on skills, and there is an ongoing effort, not only not only to put the focus on the reskilling, but also to put funding. So the EU funding in many actually uses many instruments for the training of the and education of the labor to move to the green transition. Another initiative, there was Pact for Skills, and within this Pact of Skills that I will mention a little bit later, there is there are initiatives across different institutions and also across the different sectors, manufacturing sectors, to upskill and reskill persons. So 2 million people have been already taking part in these trainings and have actually participated in different programs across the Europe. Nevertheless, I just came from the other conference and I saw that that the green transition is so the success of the green transition is really in the hands of the people and of the skilled labor, and that will be very important to remember about that, because without skilled people we will be not able to be competitive and to actually to introduce our green agenda. Just give me a second. So the Pact for Skills, large partnerships. I just mentioned before that the Pact for Skills have been agreed at the European Union. But what does it mean actually in real terms? I just looked it up for energy-intensive industries and for the health sector. And I have seen that that the different manufacturing, even companies, big companies, agreed between themselves and put themselves measures to upskill the labor. So what you see here in this slide is that there are 14 such a large scale partnerships across the Europe in different sectors that agreed on the certain targets to train people by 2030. 2030. That is also one intermediate goal to to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 55%. So you can see that the amount of the people that will be skilled is pretty big, in especially like in energy intensive industries, which is cement, which is steel, which is production of very highly energy intensive products. And in that respect, people need to know which kind of what kind of skills are needed in tourism as well, and in actually in every sector. I would like to show you that what kind of activities already are being done in that sense in different countries. And I don't know whether you see this properly, but each country in Europe has taken a certain set of actions and measures. And for example, in France, we have an observatory for jobs and occupations of the green economy. So that was the measure that has been already introduced pretty early, already in 2010. Whereas in a different country like Sweden has first made a big survey among the bosses of the biggest companies to see what kind of shortage of jobs is on the market, and what kind of skills are required to move the labor market in Sweden. In Portugal, we have a different initiative, the National Skills Strategy. So it's kind of, it's a kind of a set of measures that Portugal will be taking in the next few years to promote digital skills, but also to move to the research and development areas with the labor that is already skilled. I just gave you a few examples, and I assume that this presentation will be available later, or the recording, so you can see that you can check actually what kind of activities each country has taken up in order to prepare itself to this undergoing already green transition. I would like now to focus on one initiative that is already on the market for at least 10, 15 years, which is Build Up Skill initiative. And I just gave you an example here and a link to it. It's called the European Portal for Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy in Buildings. This case study is interesting from my personal view, because I have been working on this initiative already for a few years, because the shortage of the skilled workers, especially blue workers, has been already seen, like 10, I think like 15 years ago. And especially under this, especially when we know that that blue collar workers, if they are not trained, there is a big misuse of the materials in the construction sector. So the need already for the skilling up, or for the preparation of for prepared and for well-trained workers has been already seen many years ago. And this initiative, Build Up Skills initiative, has set up a kind of networking between different training institutions in all member states. That time it was 28 member states when UK was a member of the European Union. And then, and also in other countries that they were preparing for the enlargement. So in each of this country, the institutions that have been taking part in the build up skills initiative have prepared themselves and have proposed certain type of measures, how to skill the workers. At the beginning, it was the blue collar workers, especially in the construction sector, in the buildings. But then it has been expanded to white collars as well, white collar workers, so engineers, architects, to increase the energy efficiency when constructing houses. And this kind of network between the institutions have provided many very good insights and lessons learned, how the best to prepare workers, and how to skill them. And I remember that, different countries have taken different type of activities. In Finland, the workers have a kind of, A4 information sheets informing about how to construct or how to fix the window in order not to lose energy by improper installation of the window. Whereas in Netherlands, already that time, that was on the mobile phone, which I think is now the trend, that you have, YouTube little movies, videos, how to fix something or how to install something. So that was a very good exchange between the different institutions, and I believe this kind of initiatives are very important, not only in the energy efficiency sector in buildings, but in the renewable energy, in installing, windmills, installing actually everything, and especially in the net zero technologies, which is about the semiconductors. It's about the different types of high level technologies. It's good to look at the initiatives that have been already taken up and see what kind of measures work in certain country and not. So I invite you to have a look at this, website, and check what is there, what the lessons you can learn, and what kind of inspirations you can take from this portal. And I just made a screenshot from the activities around the in different European countries, so you can see that that you can take up the ideas from there. And I will be moving to the next slide, saying that last year the European Commission has proposed the skills and talent mobility package. And within this package, it's about the possibility to transfer the skills on the move. So wherever you are, you can train yourself via internet platforms, online, but also to get the right skills and quality jobs, and to support actually companies, European companies, to be competitive, because they are already saying about the shortages of certain skills in this country. So there is an initiative, to be prepared for that, and also even the regulation for the EU talent pool that has been proposed last year, that will help to recruit internationally European talents across the countries. There is also the initiative focused on the digital skills, so-called Digital Decade Policy Program. And and there it's it's focused on the digital skills, and we know that that 80% of the Europeans, they don't have adequate digital skills. So there is an idea to have a certificate for the digital skills and to have a transparent tools to be to be transparent and actually to be able to compare the skills of the workers across the countries in the whole European Union. So in that sense, it's much being done and it's ongoing activities. But I believe that those economists who will be able to reskill and upskill their people, they will be most competitive one. I move to the next slide and show also as well that in terms of the international activities, in that sense, it's also being done some efforts there. In US we have green card. In Europe we will have a blue card that allows highly qualitative workers from third countries to non-EU countries to come and to have to come to Europe and train self and to contribute to this economic competitiveness. Also, recently there were many partnerships, talent partnerships with different countries outside of the EU to invite those people to come to work and to bring the skills later on. So it's not about the brain drain, but it's about the to benefiting from people from the third countries, but also benefiting for the future, because these people in that countries will have possibility to train their people, and the green transition will be spreading around, so to say. Also the new subject is being taken up, which is cyber security, and I think that's not only cyber security in very narrow terms, to be prepared for hacking of different systems, but also in terms of the green transition in the green jobs. The cyber security is very important. It's about the security of energy sources. It's about the security of the data, different data. So this is actually the next topic to be prepared and to be trained of. And why? I have already mentioned that we need to all be prepared for that, but also there is a demographic change ongoing in Europe. We will have less people in Europe, and those people who will be in the labor in the active market, they need to be prepared for the green transition. There is a little unemployment rate right now in Europe, and that means that those who will work or who work need to be also very well trained. I give you also an overview of the literature I have mentioned already earlier. It's about the trends and policy implications, and about the sustainability competence framework I have mentioned before, and sustainability competence and compass as well. So there is an literature is very it's a wealth of the literature in that sense, and I invite you to have a look at the activities for each country, because the labor market in each country in Europe is different. Although we can put overall targets, those targets need to be fulfilled, taking into account the different culture of education in each country and different way of dealing with. So in that sense, I would conclude my presentation and invite you to stay in touch, and you can have a look at the sources here. And in that sense, I also will stop sharing, and I invite you to ask me questions about that. And I hope we will have this.